Tarisland second beta has now came to an end, and I'll be giving you guys a full review of this game. I played over 200 to 300 hours with all the betas combined. I'll be doing everything that is possible to do in this game, the hardest raids, arenas, events, and so on. But in this review, I will focus mainly on the gameplay itself. I've done a lot of videos on the pay to win aspect, and I will mention it in the later of the video, but I want to focus on the content of the game. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this review. So let's get into it. So the difference in this beta and the last beta, even though they have added way more content, I would say that this beta was more disappointing than the last one, mainly because of pacing issues, but also a lot of other issues that we'll be going through in this video. But I want to start with like the first thing, which is the storyline in this game, right? A lot of people enjoy MMOs for their storylines. I don't really care about storylines, but the storyline is very simple in this game. It's not very immersive at all. And it's the typical MMO storyline where you get in and if you are the hero trying to defeat the evil, you get defeated, you land up at the beach or at an entrance, and you find your way, find companions, defeat, you know, like this, the very like simple MMO storyline. So if you're gonna try to play this game for storyline, it's nothing very unique. Now, taking a look away from the storyline, I really want to talk about the pacing, because I've had a lot of complaints. If you guys watch my streams on this, I complained a lot about the pacing, because last time, the first beta, it was a short beta, like 6-7 days, and in the Chinese servers they had a 2-week beta, but during that beta the game was actually paced very nicely. You could already start experiencing raids at early levels. If you guys don't know, this game is server capped, so the max level cap right now is for level 40, but the game caps you every day when you're starting off the game. You start off at level 20 and then it levels you up, and the reason it does it because in this game you have these dungeons, and they're like, you see, level 18, level 25, level 29, so they don't want you like speed running everything and not experience these dungeons. So that's why they have server cap, which I didn't mind in the first beta, because there was no pacing issue. You could do a lot of content every day, you could grind a lot every day. But in this beta, they have slowed it down even more, so you don't even get to experience the hard raid or the fun content until like day 6 or day 7. So very deep into the beta, which I did not like, because it just ended up like every day it took like 1 to 3 hours, depending on how quick you were, of completing all the content for the day, which is very slow, and the pacing is very not enjoyable at all. And the issue, the reason for that is that I think they got a lot of feedback from the last beta that you could run through all of the game content within like a month, and I think because of that they decided to slow down the game so they don't run out of content. But it works, it just works, has a negative impact on the game because they do this. And the reason is that a lot of people that play MMOs and get into the game, or any game at all, by the first couple hours if you're going to play this game and enjoy this game, right? Or you take a couple days to see if you can actually enjoy the game. And a lot of people ended up quitting because they were like, the game is not for me, it's very slow paced. And that is because of their changes, right? So hopefully they find like a sweet spot between the pacing and let people experience like the fun and enjoyable content early on. So I have, again, a big issue with the pacing right now in the closed beta, but hopefully they find a sweet spot with that going forward. Now, the game's main focus is the PvE. And again, the PvE, I have to complain a little bit about the PvE again, because last time the PvE was enjoyable, because first you have these normal dungeons, which is fine. A lot of people can enjoy them. You know, they don't have to be very difficult. They have a little bit of mechanics. There's no autoplay, right? So there's the mechanics that people have to dodge and do. And you have the Holy Trinity, like tank, healer, and DPS. Then you have the elite difficulty, which is a little bit harder, but these are still like basic dungeons, so then they get too hard. But these are very nerfed, which is fine. But the main issue I have is when you reach level 40 and you finally unlock this after like over 7 days, you get something called Arcane Realm, which is basically a mythic dungeons, which get harder and harder by every level, right? And we unlock the hero difficulty, and then you get these affixes in the dungeons to make it harder and harder. And in this hero dungeon, you will enter it. You will enter hero dungeon 0. And then you could have a chance to drop a key for hero 1, which makes it harder, and then key 2, and then key 3. And I'm gonna be honest with you, this is the highest level dungeons locked around my level, right? Because when I do these dungeons, I get like 100, and I can get 113 gear piece, and I'm at 96, so it's very good for me. You can get, like, if you're lucky, you can get like a piece like this inside, right? So it's supposed to be very challenging, very difficult, and for those that thinks it's too difficult, they can challenge the easier level and like have a lower chance of getting the best gear. But this was so easy. They nerfed these dungeons crazily. I could do these dungeons while being AFK, almost not even care about the debuffs or anything. And they removed the leaderboards too. Like, they had their leaderboard ranking of the fastest Arcane Realm. They removed the competition to it, and they made it fairly easy, which was like, because earlier, because it was challenging, it felt more like a PC MMO, but after the nerfs, it feels more like a mobile MMO. So that was the main issue I had with the dungeons. Now, but I have to give credit where credit is due. When it comes to like the raids, when you start unlocking the Merfolk King, there's three difficulties now, which is very nice, instead of 2. And during these were actually difficult. My guild ended up getting the first kills for these, because we had experience and we kill them fairly fast. But compared to other servers, these are just early raids, right? And the NA guilds, the top NA guilds and the top like South American guilds, they spend like 4 to 8 hours on each boss, and these are the top guilds. So these bosses were actually very difficult, which I liked. So when I did the raids, I think the raids are like the strong point of this game, because the raids actually make this game feel like a PC MMO, because they're hard, they're challenging, it requires strategy, it requires people to work together. So hopefully they keep the difficulties very high on the raids and work on the dungeons, the mythic dungeons, bring back some leaderboards, and so people actually feel like they're playing a game and not just like steamrolling everything and going AFK, right? And they don't need to nerf, they don't need to like buff everything, just buff the hardest difficulties, right? So the people that struggle can still run the easier difficulties, have a lower chance to get the gear, but I don't like to feel like I'm just playing a game where I can be half AFK, right? Especially when I'm doing like the mythic dungeons. So PvE overall, some strong points and some weak points, right? And also the thing I didn't like with the raids that have some that they need to do something about it is it's fine that we only get 1 loot a week from each raid. We can only enter them 3 times to help people. So if you want to help people and contribute with your guild, you can only enter them a limited time, which again doesn't make much sense. But that is overall like the PvE overview. You can drop your gear and stuff in there, you know, get loot and just have fun with it. So that's the most enjoyable thing in this game right now is the raids. Now let's talk about the PvP, because the PvP is interesting, right? Because you have 2 PvP modes. You have the battlegrounds and then you have the PvP arena. The battlegrounds are almost open all day from like 10 to midnight, like 10 a.m. to midnight. And these battlegrounds change every day. And these battlegrounds, they're fun at like the first 2 battlegrounds they do, but after that they become very boring. It's very heavily dominated by healers, very difficult to kill if there are healers in the game. The other battleground, this one is actually nice, and you can actually do stuff and have fun with it, because you can pre-make team instead of, so no random queue. But the other ones, this one is the boring one, sorry. This one is useless because it's all about killing cards, and people go in there and they kill the cards in like 10 seconds and then the game is over. So the battlegrounds again is very lackluster. Hopefully they change the battlegrounds. And the other background is fun but very dominated by healers, so it's not and it's not really rewarding in any type of way. You just do it for like get the daily points, or it's like a daily, which is like ends up being a boring daily because it just feels like you're doing the same thing. Now the arena, however, the arena is interesting because the arena is a 3v3 where you get rankings, and then this ranking system doesn't make any sense to me, because you get challenger rank. Challenger is the highest rank. Basically, you go from bronze, silver, gold, plat, diamond, challenger. I had challenger, and these arenas need a lot of work. Unfortunately, they're fun. 3v3 is fun because you challenge. They need a lot of work on the matchmaking. They need a lot of changes on the classes, class balancing, because it's all dominated by the necromancer healers. So every single team that is in the top has a necromancer healer because they're so strong. A lot of like other like classes that are stupid overpowered, like mages have like a 15-second sleep, like a 50-second stun. Paladins have a 50-second sleep, and it's just ridiculous. So it's need a lot of balancing issues. There's some clunky skills in the arena too, but I see the arena, it can be fun. It has the potential to be something cool. They have some really cool like rewards for it. For example, like if you look at the appearances, the top players can get some dragon actual flying mounts in there if you're a top player, and the 3v3s could be fun. The map is too big, but if they make it smaller, it could be a good time and make a lot of changes, balance it. You could have like a proper PC PvP experience during the arena. So overall, right now the arenas are kind of fun, but really annoying if you're not running with a necromancer and if you don't have a class. If you're melee, it's horrible for melee. The map is way too big for melee, so hopefully they add make the map smaller or try to like work. But it has, again, arena definitely has a potential. Battlegrounds, I don't see what they can do to battlegrounds to make it more fun, like healing reductions, maybe more rewards. But overall, I just feel like a chore doing battlegrounds. And also, arena's only open 2 hours every day, so hopefully they change the time window. And what I really like to see, I'm gonna make like a feedback suggestion video to the game, but hopefully they add some kind of massive like guild versus guild content, because that will be where this game can actually have a chance to shine at something, right? So PvP, that's like overall the PvP. Right now, again, some PvP aspect has potential, but right now it just doesn't feel very polished. It doesn't feel really good. But it can be fun. Like I had fun the first day with the arenas, and then the necromancers came, and then when people learned the meta, it was just a horrendous experience. Next up is the crafting. Now the crafting in this game is very interesting because, again, Beta 1 had an amazing crafting system, even though it is locked behind stamina, which is a very mobile thing to do, because you have this vigor system that you regenerate, right? And the bad thing about this game, like I don't want to mention pay to win yet in this game, in this review. I'll keep it in the end, but you can bypass the vigor by gold, which you can buy for real money, right? And everything you do, only way to make money in this game is through crafting. So everybody has to craft. There's no other way to make gold. You have to do crafting. So at the start, you'll be able to pick between these craftings, right? Everything excels at forging makes different kind of items. Some drilling devices for gems. Jewelry makes gems, tailor, alchemist, and stuff. Now, when you level up your jewelry, like I have, this is your proficiency. Basically, this is your level. So I'm level 95 right now. You can go back and switch to a different profession if you want to, but then you go back to 0. But then if you come back to it, you have 95. So you can juggle between several professions. However, every time you switch, you have a longer cooldown to get back to it. So 1 day, 2 day cooldown. And then later on, you'll get these specialization things by exploring. So the crafting is complex. I kind of like it, but at the same time not, because what's really nice and why crafting works in this game and trading works in this game is when you try to craft like a good piece, right? You can get these by just jewel crafting, but these items, for example, you get this is a item that you get from artisan crafting, and then this is you get from tailor crafting. So the only way to get these items if you're going to craft something like this is either completely change your profession, which is a bad thing to do, or you go to a trading house and you buy it. So the trading house is very active. If you look at my trade records right here, I use this auction house very actively every single day. It's the only way to make money or get any type of gold. And the gold is the main currency. With gold, that's how you get stuff, right? That's how you buy weapons, gear, accessory, everything. So, and the crafting gear is one of the best, if not the best gear. Right now, it's the best gear you can get in the game is through crafting. So crafting is very essential thing in this game, but I don't like the vigor system. I don't like you can bypass everything by just buying everything for gold, right? And even the small things like mining your material, like the basic material, even costs vigor. And not only that, before in the first beta, to mine these things, right, mine these items, you needed like either like an axe or whatever for your own crafting, right? You needed a pickaxe or something. And before that, you can use, if you made a crafted an epic pickaxe, you'll have it. But now every time, like every 10 times you try to like mine something, it breaks. You have to keep buying them, and it's just like a money gold thing, and you use your vigor. So overall, I do not like the crafting like it is right now. It definitely needs work, because right now it's too expensive to do crafting, and the people that actually buy gold has way big of an advantage right now, right, to the crafting. But overall, it's fun because it works right now. Again, don't like the bigger system, makes it very like a mobile type crafting, but it keeps the trading house very active, right? Because you have to participate in this to make any type of gold in the game. Now, next up is the exploration. Now, the exploration is very enjoyable. Right now, we only have 3 maps. I know there's another map, like a snow map, that they have shown in the beta, but in this, you can see on the top here, we have reputation stuff that you do. You have books that you have to find. You have like chests that have like different kind of puzzles to them. You have to grab something, get something. Like, I mean, you can get this by just looking at guides, but if you want to do it yourself, the exploration is very fun. They have very different cool exploration things you can do. So cool mobs that spawn, and I have a great time. Like every time I play, every time I play the betas, every single time I did the explorations, they never got boring. It was always fun to do. You get some cool rewards from the chest, and you overall just have a great time. So exploration wise, I think it's up there with like some of the cool games, like the Genshin Impact exploration is what it feels like when I do these kind of exploration. And you need like different materials for stuff. Some requires puzzles, some requires some parkour. So I would say exploration is definitely a strong suit that the game has. It also had like an event going on, like a cooking event that was happening, which was kind of like, okay, you get some cool buffs from the cooking event. You could like cook at certain temperatures. There was some kind of puzzles to what kind of temperature you have to cook certain foods to get different rewards. So overall, the events in this game so far hasn't been anything crazy. They were like okay fun, but they were useful, right? Because you could get like some cool buffs that you could reuse in raids, that you use in PvP. So that was very nice. Now, we talked about probably the main stuff. What I really want to talk about at the end, because I made videos on this, is the pay to win. Because the pay to win, unfortunately, is most likely going to stay. I'm hoping it does not, because right now the pay to win, I mean, you guys can just watch my pay to win videos, right? But the reality is, the gold, the more and more you get into the game, right? The more you level up, the more grind you do in this game, you'll start realizing over time that buying gold makes people stronger and stronger. At the early game, like right now, we're like only 10 days in, you can already start feeling the difference in arenas. You can already start feeling the difference when you do raids, right? And that gap is just going bigger and bigger, because a perfect example is, let me show you guys a raid, right? So right now there's a raid. This guy, let's say Synthesis Doctor, his gear score is 98 required. I played every single day, I haven't spent $1 in the game, right? And I was 95 gear score with like a 10,000 or 12,000 inscribed stones, okay? Which is, I would say, is pretty good, because I've been grinding every day, I've been crafting, I've been selling, I've been min-maxing as much as I can to get, I mean, I could do better, of course, I could get better, but in comparison, in Asia, which is a day behind, their server is 1 day behind, so all their content is a day behind. There was a character in Asia that bought gold with real money, right? And he had, because I was 95 before I did this raid, okay? And yesterday, he was already above 100 gear score. So he already met, not only did he meet the requirement of this raid, I didn't even meet the requirement. Not even did he meet this requirement, he was above the requirement when it comes to the scribe stones. in comparison, I have 12,000 in there. He had 60,000 inside of it. So gold, buying gold, a whale will have a massive advantage over players, not only because of the vigor system, but how this game is set up through the crafting, through the raids, the PvP. So I really hope they do something about the pay to win, because pay to win being in this game, everybody might think that Tarisland is not going to be that pay to win compared to other MMOs. I can just tell you, if you can buy gold, it will, because everything in this game is controlled by gold. Literally everything is controlled by gold, even though like they try to limit you from entering certain raids because they open raids slowly and slowly. So you think that they're not getting a big gap. They are getting a bigger and bigger gap, because by buying more gear, they can RNG roll better stats than you, get better set bonuses than you, and then always constantly be on top of you, right? Now, so overall opinion of this beta, again, even though they have added more content and added another map like the Silverlit place, they changed it up. They added, like, the world bosses in this game was very lackluster. This dark invasion thing that they added wasn't really fun. It's just like okay, you know. But it does have like the problem with this game is many times this game feels like a mobile game when it doesn't have to feel like a mobile game, because they have the right things in this game. They have the quality is very polished. So I feel like they themselves are limiting themselves at just being a mobile game when they have the ability to be a proper PC game, because they have the hard content in raids, right? They have these flying mounts, which looks really cool. You know, the graphics are very nice and clean, right? So they have the content, but I feel like they themselves are limiting this game to become a mobile game when it doesn't really have to. Like it could be like a top of the food chains for mobile games, and it could be like a decent PC game. But right now it feels like a low tier PC game because of many of their changes, and I could say like a high tier mobile game, right? But that is my thoughts of 250 plus to 300 hours of Tarisland. I know a lot of people have been asking me, because I made all these pay-to-win videos, right? But I've been still playing the game. I've been streaming the game, and the reality is that I do enjoy the game. And still, since it's still in beta, Tarisland still have a chance to save the game, right? Most likely they're not going to do it. Most likely they're going to continue with their monetization plan, which will just end up it being a fiasco, because every MMO, even though no matter how good MMO you have, if you end up being pay to win, you don't survive for very long. It's just a reality of things. So hopefully they take in the feedback, they make changes, and I only will be playing Tarisland hardcore and have it as main game if it's gonna stay to its word of not being pay to win. If it will be end up being pay to win, I will play it because it's fun. I'll do some raids here and there, but I'll play very casually, and probably after a couple of months, I'm most likely gonna quit it. I'll make some guides and videos for you guys that want to enjoy the game, because we've been following it for a while. But overall, they need to keep their promise and not lie for me to actually dedicate to the game in the first place, because I don't like being lied to, right? But that is overall my opinion, my review of Tarisland. Let me know what you guys think. Will you be checking this game out? Check out the video right here, and I'll see you guys next time.